We're here for round 2 with the list that you see on screen. It's doing absolutely nothing particularly spectacular other than, of course, resolving Primeval Titan against your opponent. We got a Fierce Empath, we got some Relic of Progenitus. You know the deal, you know the deal. So let's just jump straight into match 2 here. Let's just get paired against Prowess again. On the play. On the draw again. Mized by 1. They got a 5. We got a 4. Classic. Playing against Suxi. Susie, I don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced, but we got a turn 1 Amulet, turn 2 3-drop type hand. We got an Explorer and a Tracker to dig us out from underneath discard. We have a Bounce Land. We even have a Hidden Titan in this Talari West if we're able to find another blue source. So, I mean, I dare say that this is a keep. Uh-oh. Turn 1 Tron Land. Surge Node. Alright. Well, if you guys are not familiar with this deck, today's a good day to learn. We are playing against what might be called affectionately Dice Factory. Their plan is to put a bunch of counters on things like Astral Cornucopia or Everflowing Chalice. Cards like that where they're just artifacts that come into play with counters and then you can tap them for mana equal to the number of counters on them. And the whole plan is to just ramp up tons of mana by getting a bunch of counters on all of your things and just kind of, quote-unquote, going big with your mana, casting giant ballistas and all that kind of thing. You know, going through your deck with Mystic Forge, playing Karn the Great Creator. Definitely one of the decks that lost a little bit of oomph from the banning of Mycosynth Lattice, but definitely a very interesting deck to be playing against here. I've only ever played it once, maybe twice, in the not free to play rooms. What is it called? 2-player queues, 2PQs, the 2PQ rooms. I've played it a few times there, but never played one in the league. So this will be interesting. Hopefully they don't just natural Tron us here. We also did happen to draw the second Amulet, which is pretty ridiculous. If we can go second Amulet into Rot Farm, Explore, Dryad, Titan this upcoming turn, it'll just be the nuts. So we have 2 draw steps here at a Titan, the one for our turn and the one from this Explorer, which will definitely cycle. Titan. That's not Titan. Alright, well, here's Amulet of Vigor. Here's a Rot Farm. We'll definitely pick up the Bounce Land here. We'll explore. There's a Titan. Let's see, so if we play Rot Farm, that'll be 6 mana. We can use 3 of it down to 3 and then play another Rot Farm and get both Dryad and Titan into play, so I suppose we can do Crumbling Vestige here instead of the Rot Farm for one of the land drops. It will still be good, right? So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to 2 mana, a Rot Farm for Xaxes, but then we won't leave a mana floating for the haste, which I don't think we're going to be doing anyways. Let's go for the Vestige line, though, I think. Alright, so we will untap once and float, untap twice and float, and our Vestige will float us a green. Let's see, if we float a red, then we'll be able to play a Rot Farm and float 2 more green. We'll have green, green, black, 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 red, so it doesn't matter. We'll just float a green here. Alright, here's a Dryad. Here's Rot Farm. Just getting the nuts hand here. No big deal. No big deal at all. Don't even worry about it. We'll pick up our Vestige here for absolute maximum value. And here we'll get a Valakut, of course, and our Hanweir, wherever you're at. Hold on, let me make this bigger so I can actually see the good idea, I think. Where are you at, Hanweir? There you are. Alright. Step 1 has been achieved. I think our opponent's probably just dead here off of the back of Vesuva copying Valakut and a second Valakut here, so I think they saw it too. So We definitely want explosives. Explosives on 0 is the absolute ridiculous nuts against them. We want Force of Vigor. We want a Rex Sage. Probably want Beast Withins for potential Karns and like bridges and stuff. Do we want things like a Relic or Veil? We definitely don't need Relic, I think, especially since it gets shut off by Karn the Great Creator. Don't think we want Veil either, so let's not do that. We can trim on Explore, but I don't mind this effect in the matchup. Tracker seems good. And trim Grazers. We don't need to be that particularly fast. Yeah, let's just trim Grazers altogether. Fearsome Path seems fine. Yeah, all this seems good. Bog could be irrelevant here. In fact, we don't really want to bog our opponent's graveyard. If I'm being completely honest, they can always just get back their artifacts with Karn the Great Creator. So let's trim the bog, I suppose. Bring back an Explorer, perhaps. It could be Explorer or Grazer, I'm not sure. I mean, getting a turn 2 3-drop is very good against them. Is it better than drawing a card towards getting a Titan into play or finding an Engineered Explosives or something? I don't know. Could also trim a Cavern, actually. Especially if we're trimming Grazers, since Cavern is just a colorless source. For the most part. I mean, we can use it for green to play one of these things, but then not for Titan, and vice versa. If we play it Naming Giant, then we can't cast a Zeusa or Dryad off of it, so it's kind of awkward. Let's trim that, and we'll bring in maybe a Grazer. Now, let's just go with the full 4 Explorers. I like exploring, don't you? Let's draw some cards. It might be wrong to not be playing Grazer, but we'll just draw another hand where we turn 1 to Amulet, turn 2 Bounce Land, and have a 3-drop. No big deal. Naturally, drew the Reclamation Sage. No green sources, though, and our opponent's definitely not going to be playing one for us to Vesuva here. I don't know about this one. Yeah, this seems like a mulligan to me. Well, this hand's not the prettiest hand I've ever seen, but we actually do have the ability to potentially transmute Talari West into Engineered Explosives on 0, which is quite relevant. We also have Dryad into Titan, so we can kill our opponent very fast if we get to there, and we do have an untapped source, so it's not the worst hand I've ever seen. We'll try it, but I do think this could be, this could end up being a little slow. Let's bottom the Sanctuary here, since our Gruul Turf would potentially tap for our haste mana if we needed it to. I'd love to see an Amulet off the top here. Come on. That's not an Amulet. Well, do we show our opponent the Talaria West? I think that's way more relevant than showing them that we have an untapped source, so let's not reveal that to them. Opponent not gonna have Natural Tron on us this time. There's a 0-drop. This is the other one of their mana rocks here. Tapping for colorless mana. Summoner's Pact is interesting. Okay, let's throw out our Growth Chamber and pick up this Ghost Quarter. We are 1 card away from having to discard a card, but all is well. All is well. And then this upcoming turn, we can play Dryad into 2nd Growth Chamber. Like Ghost Quarter, Dryad, 2nd Growth Chamber, pick up the Ghost Quarter, so that even if our Dryad dies, we can still transmute T-West. I'm a little worried about a Karn the Great Creator, potentially, in our future, but we'll see. Alright, so we're definitely doing the Dryad thing. Don't want to give our opponent forewarning of the Talaria West that is soon to be transmuted, so just play out our bounce lands here. They could potentially be playing things like Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin, but it's whatever. We can actually transmute and play and blow explosives on 0 this upcoming turn if we had to. Tracking map, okay. So now they have Tron. See what they can do with it. You might also have to pack for Rex Sage here, depending on what happens. We'll see. This is the Great Creator. That would turn off our EE on 0. Okay. If we draw an untapped source, we can actually just play a Titan. Titan searching up double Valakut after getting 2 lands into play actually would be able to kill our opponent's Karn here. So an untapped land off the top here is good as well. See what our opponent chooses to find with their Karn the Great Creator. With a Dryad in play, them going and searching up and Snaring Bridge is not actually the best for them, considering we may not need to even attack with our Titans to be able to win this game. Just resolving a Titan and getting some Valor Cuts is probably good enough. They could get potentially like a Torpor Orb or something here, so they can let us play a Titan and not get a trigger off of it, and then go and search for a bridge so we can't attack. But then if they choose to go with that line, we can summon this pack for a Rex Sage and blow up the bridge, so we're not weak to that either, so definitely some interesting things going on here. I suppose all of that is depending on us keeping a Dryad in play, though. So if they had a Dismember, then we would be in some trouble, but going for the Scry, huh? Let me do it this way. This definitely seems like a matchup where you need to be tapping this one to Scry rather than sinking mana into it, because Amulet is not a deck that you have a whole lot of time against to just kind of mess around, you know? So they go for the bridge. Like I have said before, that one is beatable, I would say. We just need to top deck and untap land. Come on, untap land. That one's not untapped. So we could use this turn to pack for a Rex Sage. We could play Ghost Quarter into Growth Chamber and have 6-7 mana available this upcoming turn, which is not enough to be able to do a whole lot. We could also transmute Talari West for a Pact of Negation, so that our opponent can't do anything super threatening like a Sundering Titan or something this upcoming turn. I think that might be what we have to do. Yeah, let's use this turn to transmute, I think. Well, we actually can also Ghost Quarter our opponent off of Tron as well. Ghost Quarter the tower, since it's the last one that they searched for, if I'm not mistaken. Right. I suppose it's going to be... Well, if we go for Transmuting Talari West this turn, then we can't actually play any additional land drops, because our bounce lands would just get returned to our hand. Unfortunately. Weird stuff going on. Well, let's go Talari West into Ghost Quarter, I suppose, and get them off Tron. No, but then we can't play Titan this upcoming turn. Weird. I guess we just have to let them have Tron and go for the Pact of Negation. That's what I'm going to do. Sucks to just let them have Tron, but there's not a whole lot that we can do about it. So, because we have to make our land drops towards Titan here. We get to clock Karn for 2, though, which is fantastic. Making sure that they don't get a second search out of it. And they can scry in their upkeep, that's fine. And now this upcoming turn, we can play Ghost Quarter and then Titan and get double Valakut. Mystic Forge. Is that one that we need to counter? I don't think so. We'd rather get a Titan into play this upcoming turn, I think. So they exile the top card of their library straight off. It's not a good sign for them. Playing Blast Zone. Interesting. I think that one's going to be a turn too late, perhaps, here. We are one additional land drop from being able to kill our opponent here. Do we side out all the Grazers? Yep, if we had even one more Grazer here, then we would be able to float a green by playing Ghost Quarter, getting double Valakut. Actually, I guess we can Ghost Quarter, get double Valakut, then play Growth Chamber as our second land drop with the Dryad, and that would be lethal, I think. That'd be 2 times the 2 lands. Entering would be 4 Valakut triggers, plus 2 more from the second land drop, so that'd be 6, that's 18. It's very close to lethal, but it's not. So playing Chalice on 1. Okay. They're drawing a card with Seagate. Hmm. We're very close to lethal here. We might be able to Ghost Quarter ourselves for lethal. They're upticking Karn. Yep. Fierce Empath. That's not really doing a whole lot here. So let's see. We can play Titan, leaving a red floating and tapping the Ghost Quarter, and get Hanweir plus a bounce land and play. No, but we can't haste because of the bridge. Weird spot for sure. Okay, so I think our plan is going to be to do as much damage to them with Valakut this turn as possible, and the next turn we can pact for a Rex Age to blow up the bridge and get the final points of damage that way. That's what I'm going to go for, so. And then, at the end of this turn, we can use the Ghost Quarter to cut them off of Tron, which I think would be prudent, given they have a Mystic Forge in play. So let's go for the double Valakut line here. We'll send one of these at Karn, and then the rest at them. Well, always yes. Always yes. Always yield. Come on. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I guess this is what we're doing. And we'll just pick up the Growth Chamber itself here, so we have lethal retained for this upcoming turn. Let's go ahead and GQ them off of Tron by hitting their tower. And we'll pass it back to them. We still have Pact Negation up here as well, so Dismember is not going to cut it. Astral Cornucopia for 0. Sure. I'm just trying to clear the top card of their deck, I presume. Map. That's fine, especially since they've already played a land drop. Maybe playing the land there was a bit of a punt from them. Although I guess they had to play the land to clear the top card of their deck, although they could have tapped Forge for that. I don't know. Paying 1 life down to 3 seems a little bit scary, though, in all honesty. Yeah, they need a lot of stuff to go right here. I guess they need to find, like, an 8-mana Ugin off the top here to wipe our board, because then they wouldn't be dead to the Dryad, and then we also couldn't just pack for Rex Age to blow up the bridge and then swing for lethal, since we wouldn't have a board. So I guess that would be their best draw, but even then we can just pack negation it, so. Yeah, I don't know what they could have here as an out, but we'll see if they find it. Whatever it is, if it exists. And they know about the pact negation as well, since we revealed it with the Talari West, so. Ballista for X equals 0? Sure. scry one to put the top card on the bottom. It's probably some dead land drop or something like that. Because Mystic Forge only lets you cast the top card of your deck. So, I guess I don't think you can even play lands with Mystic Forge. Now I'm thinking about it. If you have a land on top, you can't cast it. You can play lands, but you can't cast them, if I'm not mistaken. So, I suppose you would have to clear the top card of your library if there's a land on top. Four tapper. This is one of the creatures that they use to put counters on things. I guess they could charge counter their Blast Zone up to 3 and kill the Dryad and then pass the turn, but then we just pass for Rex Sage and attack them for lethal, so... I mean, they don't know that, but... Okay. Oh, the life they gained is from the card that they exiled earlier. What was it? The, Maze Mind Tome. That's what it was. So, well, you actually don't quite have lethal here. Just on the attack, sadly. If we draw a second Summoners Pact, then we have lethal map. Okay. Well, now we get to keep the Dryad in play since they tapped their Blast Zone, which is a little unreal to me, but that's okay. Sacrifice to put 2 charge counters on something, so... Huh. If we draw Hanweir, we could actually haste our Rex Sage for the lethal as well, so... Opponent is doing a lot of things here, but I cannot say for sure whether any of this will be relevant. I believe they are simply dead. So... Oh, Explore also makes it lethal in multiple different ways. So let's start with this. Send all the Valakut triggers upstairs. Explore into another land drop, and they're dead that way. If they don't have interaction for the Dryad. And then if they... Or they're just going to concede to that, even though it's not technically lethal, but okay. Oh, I guess they know that we can pick up and replay the Growth Chamber, so... That was interesting. Well, we managed a 2-0 deck that is not, in my opinion, seen very frequently. Dice Factory. Definitely a very interesting match. One that you got to have some amount of the tools for. Being able to have access to Rex Sage, for example, is quite good. Obviously, having access to Dryad plus Valakut as a backup plan if your Titan plan isn't really working is a great boon in a matchup like that. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think. What are your experiences against Dice Factory? Tell me about your craziest game, all the crazy top decks. How do you feel about Dice Factory? Do you play it? Have you played against it? Let me know. Anyways, this is Red Face Menace, signing off.